There was a country near the ocean. The people of this country were strange. They hated their own people, their own culture, their own great persons, their own ideals. They hated everything of their own country. They loved other countries. They always searched for foreign ideas. Once, there was news. In some foreign country, there was forest fire. The fire had destroyed forest and houses. Immediately the intellectuals of this country near the ocean wanted to follow that. They loved foreign countries. To imitate foreign countries is called modern, they thought. They gave highly intellectual discourses in universities. Freedom of fire, they shouted. Shame on our ancient stupid people. We are a democracy, and we should have freedom of fire. Freedom of fire, students shouted. So what did they do? The intellectuals wanted the country near the ocean to look like foreign. That was modernity for them. So they inspired the youth to show freedom of fire. They set fire to others' houses, forests, and so on. The media fully supported them. Some politicians gave total support. These politicians declared, those who set fire to public property are nation's heroes. They are gods. They are youth icons. Freedom of fire. Freedom of fire.
So the foreign-loving intellectuals and the students began a great movement. Common masses were terrified. Police came. They caught some freedom of fire people. Immediately there was a tremendous uproar. Media ran full-page stories, see how dictatorship is ruling our country. How nation's freedom of fire is being destroyed. In our country, we have democracy. But we are not allowed freedom of fire. The ministers tried to explain, yes, we are democracy. But please listen. We have freedom of fire, true. But, how can you burn property of others? How can you set fire to others' property? Because of our freedom of fire, we cannot lose our country. Freedom and responsibility go together. Immediately other politicians condemned these ministers. They declared, dictators. We are under dictators. Shame on them. From tomorrow we shall have a country-wide agitation. Freedom of fire. Freedom of fire. Again the ministers said, you see, we know you have freedom of fire. But can you give fire to a child? The child will burn its hands. Freedom is given to responsible people. Responsibility is necessary. Our country is important. Immediately media and politicians shouted, we don't want to listen to dictators. We want freedom of fire. Freedom of fire is our fundamental right and we shall use it. Foreign countries have that and they are so forward. In foreign, they burn lots of property. Why should we not? No dictator can stop us.
Thus, the students and intellectuals, fully supported by media and politicians, burnt more property. They set fire to cars, buses, trains. More forests were set fire. In the meantime, there were some jobless writers who waited for such opportunities. They wrote in international papers about the dictators of this country. They showed pictures of police catching intellectuals and students and condemned the ministers. International media wept. Amnesia Company wept. Television channels conducted debates. 6 people to shout for freedom of fire, 2 meek people to say burning others' property is wrong. The debates were inaudible. The 6 people would howl together. Shout together. The meek people would be tried to say something. But the channels enjoyed. TRP. TRP. Once the channels had their TRP and money, they forgot everything. Once politicians had their power, they forgot everything. Here, people whose property was burned languished. They went from court to court. Many committed suicide. So freedom of fire was given full expression. The intellectuals, who loved foreign, burnt more and more. They destroyed everything. This is the story of the country near the ocean.
And this is the story of freedom of expression or speech. Along with your rights, know what responsibilities you have. You have 3 sons. You give a sharp knife to the eldest son to cut fruit. Because he is mature. He is responsible. If you give the sharp knife to the youngest one, the little child, be ready to weep. Freedom of expression, freedom of speech, etc. are for people who know their duties. Who know their responsibilities. Dogs bark. Lunatics in mental hospitals have freedom of speech. That is not the way. So this is about freedom of fire. If you want to burn yourself, go ahead. Thank you.